Now on CoastTV News.
The heat is pushing limits for people and pets, what you can give to help them power through.
E-bike safety, how one coastal town is trying to prevent dangerous accidents.
And after another day of sweltering heat and humidity, I'm tracking a threat for severe storms through the evening. We'll time out the storms and talk about some cooler temperatures for our Friday. Coming up, my full forecast.
This is CoastTV News at 5.
Donations are coming in for Humane Animal Partners, but more are needed. Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis.
These puppies at Humane Animal Partners, well, they need your help, according to the shelter. CoastTV News reporter Zakia Jennings is live in Georgetown. And Zakia, the extreme heat is taking a toll on supplies for a lot of folks.
Maddie, first responders and local animal shelters are constantly taking calls to help people and pets. Now, some kind neighbors are taking their calls for donations during the first heat wave of the summer. These puppies are barking up a storm inside Humane Animal Partners in Rehoboth Beach, but it's not just excitement. With this extreme heat, these furry friends have been cooped up indoors. That's why the shelter is asking for help keeping them entertained, cool, and hydrated. Director Lee McKinley says they rely on creative treats to keep tails wagging.
We use wet food, peanut butter, kibble, treats, and we can stuff it all into a Kong and freeze it, so it just becomes this nice big cold popsicle for them to work on.
Cases of water and Gatorade were donated to Georgetown EMS on Wednesday. EMT Stephen Chapis says they were down to just 2 cases of water before the community banded together to donate. What people may not know is that their donations could help save a life.
We keep coolers on the ambulances, so in case we ever need water for anybody on scene, not just ourselves, but for patients or something like that.
Helping our neighbors stay cool and safe, one donation at a time. Chapis says some of the homes they've gone to recently feel like ovens because there's no AC. McKinley says if it feels hot for us, it's even hotter for our pets since they have fur. Both of them urge people to check in on others during this time. Live in Georgetown, Zakia Jennings, Coast TV News.
You planned on going to Georgetown Summer Concert Series tonight for the Army Band at Sandhill Fields. Oh, your plans are changing. Mayor Bill West announced the concert is canceled due to rain and high heat.
An ice cream truck in Dover melting away in these temps. The owner of the Brain Freezer tells us she changed her hours because of the heat.
It's been difficult. We've actually opened later than normal. The last 2 days, our normal hours are 12 to 9, but yesterday and Tuesday we opened at 4 because of the heat. This is a big tin can, so it's really hot in here, especially when we open the window. All the hot air comes in, even though there are a couple air conditioners.
And this brings us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know who's most at risk during this extreme heat.
Let's take a look at the results so far. 81% say outdoor workers, and there are a lot of them. 17% say the elderly, and 2% say pets outside.
If you haven't voted yet, or if you want to leave us a comment, always a good option, you can go to coasttv.com or use the Coast TV mobile app. And we're taking a live look outside right now into Ocean City as we get ready to toss things over to our meteorologist, Chris Mastrobuono. And Chris, you're the one that can tell us all about the heat, the storms, everything.
Yeah, we have a little bit of everything going on right now. We hit a high at 98 in Georgetown today. Now we have the severe thunderstorm watch in effect for pretty much the whole state of Delaware and northern portions of the eastern shore. This runs through 10 o'clock tonight, so we're watching how things develop here over the next few hours. Now the Storm Prediction Center has a marginal risk of severe weather throughout the entire Delmarva Peninsula. That yellow, the core of the severe weather is going to take place west of here, but damaging winds, hail are the primary threats. So we could see some isolated severe storms. We did see one severe thunderstorm just a short hour ago develop a southern portion of the county, push through Ocean City and portions of Worcester County. Torrential rain with this, but it is weakened and pushed off the coast. And you could see the outflow boundary that actually formed from this storm and actually helped cool most of Sussex County. You could see a lot of clouds, kind of a mini cold front. Think of it that way. And you could see some showers beginning to form just to the southwest of Laurel. The coast pretty dry, cloudy, and much cooler from where we were at just a short time ago, where we hit 98 degrees. And you can see that backdoor cold front beginning to slide into Delmarva, and that's going to continue to push southward through the night. 98 degrees. We were 1 degree shy of breaking another record. 93 in Cambridge. We were at 97 in Salisbury, but we have cooled considerably. We're down to 80 degrees now in Ocean City as that thunderstorm passed through just a few hours ago. But you can see we're down to 72 in Rehoboth, 73 in Lewis. Milder back to the west, 84 in Seaford, and we are at 80 in Laurel. Still quite muggy out there. We have that shower around Laurel right now. So we have that severe thunderstorm watch through 10, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and hail are the primary threats. So you want to stay weather aware. Download that Coast TV First Alert Weather app for the latest in any advisories or warnings that are issued. A brief cool down Friday, a mostly cloudy day, but we're going to heat it right back up for the weekend. We'll track the storms and talk about the heat coming back this weekend in that full 7-day forecast. Maddie.
Thank you, Chris. Bethany Beach's Bicycle and Pedestrian Safety Committee says there's near misses in town with lots of bikes and people. And one way to prevent these accidents is to spread awareness to local bike shops about the dangers of unsafe riding, the committee says. And they also heard suggestions from a police chief in Florida about possible bike lanes and e-bike rules to introduce. We spoke with somebody who has an e-bike and they say it's always safe, but you do really need to be careful.
Don't take it for granted when you get into a crosswalk that people necessarily going to stop because you're on a bike and you're crossing. So I'm always cautious.
The committee also talked about safety for J1 students in town as well. A healthy step forward for Dorchester County Health Department. A ribbon cutting ceremony held for its new facility on Cedar Street in downtown Cambridge. Officials say the building is 3 times the size of the previous location.
It really just opens the door to becoming more of a community hub, allowing us to grow our workforce and provide even more programs for the citizens of Dorchester County.
Scott says the space will also allow them to host events like this open house health fair.
The Trump administration aggressively pushing back on doubts about the effectiveness of the U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear facility. NBC's Melanie Zanona shows us this comes as the White House decides to limit some intelligence given to lawmakers as senators get a classified briefing on the attacks.
The Trump administration executing a full court press in its defense of the U.S. strikes on 3 Iranian nuclear facilities.
The world is a much safer place.
Decimating, choose your word, obliterating, destroying Iran's nuclear capabilities.
After a leaked Defense Intelligence Agency's preliminary assessment cast doubt on whether the bombs destroyed those sites. The Pentagon's top officials outlining details of Saturday's mission. Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman General Dan Kane showing a video of the tests of the massive ordnance penetrators used in the attack.
Operation Midnight Hammer was the culmination of those 15 years of incredible work.
Kane said the intelligence community will conduct the final battle damage assessment. And referencing the Fordo target, stopped short of saying it was destroyed, but said the missiles found their mark.
The trailing jets saw the first weapons function, and the pilots stated, quote, "This was the brightest explosion that I've ever seen. It literally looked like daylight."
Administration officials briefed senators today on that mission. But NBC News confirms the White House plan to limit intelligence sharing with them after the leaked assessment.
Well, nobody should ever leak any classified information. At the same time, the president doesn't have a right to limit the information that the United States Congress gets.
Senators spoke after the briefing.
Nobody is going to work in these 3 sites anytime soon.
The latest NBC News Survey Monkey poll finds Americans are divided over those strikes, with 45% against the attack versus 38% who support them.
Lawmakers say they should have been consulted before the strikes, and the Survey Monkey poll shows 60% of Americans agree with them. Melanie Zanona, NBC News, Washington.
The Supreme Court has ruled for South Carolina in its effort to defund Planned Parenthood. Thursday's 6-3 ruling found that individual Medicaid patients cannot sue a state to pick a medical provider. Federal funding for abortion is already banned, but conservatives have long targeted Planned Parenthood for any funding it receives, even if it's for other health care related services. South Carolina now has a 6-week abortion ban, meaning abortions are very rare in the state.
Coming up on Coast TV News at 5, how plastic bags can be used to help out the homeless.
Well, we're keeping a close eye to the skies, at least through the early part of the evening for that severe storm threat. Temperatures falling into the lower 70s tonight. Much cooler for our Friday before we warm it right back up over the weekend. My latest forecast in minutes.
First, promoting crosswalk safety with chickens. You heard that right. You're going to want to see this story up next.
Why did the chicken cross the road? Well, according to the Fenwick police, it is to get people to hit the brakes for pedestrians. And that's no laughing matter. Coast TV News reporter Kevin Zappe shows us in this week's Coastal Connections how a funny costume is promoting safety.
The Fenwick Island Police Department does everything they can to keep the community safe. Whether that's patrolling the streets in their car, watching over the beach, or wearing a chicken costume.
We at the Fenwick Island Police Department are serious about crosswalk safety.
To spread awareness to keeping your eyes on the road and pressing the crosswalk button, Fenwick Island Police Chief Michael Morrissey took it upon himself to hop in the chicken suit and cross the road.
We're kind of trying to use a little humor to get the message across that don't play chicken in the crosswalks, either as the driver of a vehicle or a pedestrian crossing.
With some cars still not following the crosswalk rules, the police department brought backup, a familiar police figure on TV. They walked across the street together in hopes of sending a message to stop for pedestrians, especially as the busy season gets underway.
Double and triple are crossings, so you're going to see more people out crossing the highway trying to enjoy our beaches and our bays.
Although Chase may be waving goodbye to all the cars in town, that's not the last you'll see of Chief Morrissey and the police department suiting up for duty.
Now the Fenwick Island Police Department is planning to do this again, but next time they're going to be wearing the Grinch and Santa costumes for Christmas in July. I'm Kevin Zappe in Fenwick Island, Coast TV News.
Well, we hit day 9 of our heat wave today on Delmarva, looking live into Ocean City. We had a thunderstorm pass there just a few hours ago. Folks along the boards enjoying the evening there. 81 degrees, dew point 76, still rather muggy out there considering the drop in temperature. Can't rule out an isolated storm through the evening. I think most of Ocean City will be dry. I think the most thunderstorm risk is going to be kind of west of Ocean City here over the next few hours. Well, where is the cold front? You can see it just to our north, 70 in New York City, 85 in Philly, but still holding at 93 in Cambridge. And you can see we've cooled quite considerably with an onshore flow here. We're at 72, Rehoboth, 76 in Milton, still holding in the lower to mid 80s for the western portion of the county. And you can see that onshore flow taking place, winds gusting upwards of 20, 25 miles an hour. And we're going to keep that onshore flow in play through the overnight and into our Friday. Well, this thunderstorm that developed over the past few hours pushed through Worcester County and has since weakened, actually produced a mini cold front. You can see it pushing back off to the west, exploded with some cloud cover and actually helped cool most of Sussex County down. And you can see some showers beginning to form just to the, right along the Delaware and Maryland border there, just to the west of Salisbury. That thunderstorm beginning to develop there. So that's kind of what we're going to see here over the next few hours is these isolated shower and storm threats, at least through the early part of the evening as that cold front slides to the south. That big dome of high pressure has weakened, and that is allowing for scattered showers and storms to develop well west of the tri-state. But we are dealing with that severe thunderstorm watch, at least through about 10 o'clock tonight for all of Delaware. We do have a coastal flood advisory up for the coastal sections through 1 a.m. That's due in part to that onshore flow. A new moon could see some inundation in those vulnerable areas along the coast and back bays. So over the next few hours, expect those isolated showers and storms to fire up. Everyone is not going to see the thunderstorms. Then as we go into the overnight, a lot of clouds, another round of showers into the early part of your Friday. So we're looking at lower 70s tonight with cloudy skies, a few stray showers in the morning. Otherwise, a cloudy day. Temperatures barely getting above 80 throughout most of Delaware. It's going to be kind of all about location tomorrow. Most of coastal Delaware staying in the upper 70s to lower 80s, but then you go south into Ocean City and Chickateague. We top in the mid to upper 80s with a stray shower or thunderstorm chance tomorrow. No severe threat tomorrow. Most of the day is dry, but we have that persistent onshore flow. Warm front lifts quickly northward into Saturday, and we're right back into the lower 90s into Saturday with an afternoon shower and storm threat. So we're going to keep the unsettled conditions in play really through Tuesday, with afternoon and evening thunderstorm chances through the weekend. In fact, we could see a brief gusty, damaging wind threat Saturday night. Then as we go into Sunday, that front sags south, and we see another chance for showers and storms Sunday into Monday, with a better chance coming in with a stronger front into Tuesday. So we're at 70 overnight with the storms early, cloudy skies, 80 for our Friday, and then we're right back up to 91 for our weekend. And we're going to hover right around the lower 90s, at least through Tuesday. And then we finally end this thunderstorm threat much drier and pleasant through the middle part of next week.
Chris, thank you. The plastic bags you get from grocery stores can be used to help the homeless. Volunteers came out at the Georgetown Library to create mats for sleeping out of plastic bags crocheted together like yarn. These recycled mats help the homeless sleep just a little bit easier.
They can put them under their sleeping bags, and it gives them warmth, and it keeps the moisture from coming through to their sleeping bags.
It takes between 500 and 600 plastic bags just to make one mat. Each Friday, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news. Our Feel Good Friday newsletter has features, cool things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up by scanning that QR code or go to coasttv.com/sign up.
Coming up tonight on the Delmarva Sports Network at 7:30, another episode of Into the Trenches. Then at 8, it's the Berlin bathtub races. You might hear my voice on that. At 10 p.m., catch that episode of Into the Trenches if you missed it. And at 10:30, it's the final score. Then on the DSN Plus app at 6, Crown Sports Center High School League Girls Basketball. A lot of words there. Also, Cape Henlopen High School League Boys Soccer, and at 6:15 action from the Maryland Supreme Basketball League. Coming up, low gas prices, what the numbers at the pump will look like this week. Stay tuned on Coast TV News at 5.
Good news for drivers. Your summer road trip may be a little less expensive this year. Current summer gas prices are their lowest in 4 years. The national average for a gallon of gas was about $3.20 this week. The price is only a few cents higher than a month ago, more than 20 cents lower than this time last year. The last time prices were lower than this was June 2021. A fragile ceasefire between Iran and Israel has stabilized prices.
If you're holding off on buying a new car, you're not alone. The average American is holding on to their cars for 12.6 years. That average has crept up more than a full year over 10 years ago, and analysts expect it to climb even more.
It costs a lot of money to buy a car. Bankrate found the average new car payment right now is about $750, and that's a pretty significant expense to take on.
With tariffs likely coming into play, driving new car costs up, the trend towards holding on to an older car that's paid for, that's expected to continue to rise.
After serving as editor-in-chief of American Vogue for almost 40 years, Anna Wintour announced she is stepping down. Though she's not leaving the company altogether, but Wintour will be scaling back her responsibilities and losing her iconic title. Wintour has held the position since 1988. Her replacement will assume a new title, Head of Editorial Content. Let's go ahead and take a live look outside into Laurel. You can see those storms coming through. One more check on the forecast after this.
Coming up new on Coast TV News at 6, a hotel project years in the making now delayed another month in Rehoboth Beach.
Well, we're keeping a close eye with that severe threat through the evening. No active warnings at this moment. We just have a few showers just right around Salisbury, just to the southwest portion of the county. The Skeeter meter, well, it's still going to be high. Even though we're going to be cooler tomorrow, we're going to keep that humidity in play, and then we're going to see hot and humid conditions over the weekend. We have our umbrella winner, John Jariga of Salisbury, Maryland. You're the winner of our Paul Davis umbrella. You get your forecast anytime by dialing the First Alert weather phone. Cooler for our Friday, 80, but the heat, humidity feels like 100 degrees Saturday and Sunday with daily shower and storm threats really through Tuesday. And then we dry things out in the middle part of next week and looking pretty good right now so far for the 4th of July with a high of 87 degrees.
All right, Chris, thanks. And thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 5.
For more news and more local weather, download our Coast TV News app.
Inside Edition is up next.
And we'll see you later for Coast TV News at 6. Have a great evening.